Hey there, friends. This is reporter Melissa Correa here. We are inside the Jimmy Burke Activity Center. The address is 500 West 13th here in Deer Park. Thank you so much to so many of you for joining us right now. I'm following your questions. We're live streaming here on KHOU multiple platforms, and I'm following along through the KHOU Facebook page. So if you've got any questions, I'm going to go through them and see if I can answer them. But right now, I just wanted to paint the picture of what this Harris County Public Health mobile clinic looks like. It just opened its doors at 2 p.m. Staff is going to be here in place until 7 p.m. Again, the address is 500 West 13th Street. For folks in the Deer Park area, you're probably going to know it as the Jimmy Burke Activity Center. And so this is what we've got set up here. There are a number of employees with the Harris County Public Health Department, along with a lot of folks from the community here. We're going to try our best to, leave them their privacy as they're here in this public space, filling out information, trying to get more details about maybe the symptoms and the side effects that they believe they are feeling or felt with the release of higher levels than normal of benzene this morning. Actually, it might be easier for me to sit at a table. Don't mind me, gals. I'm just doing a Facebook Live, but I wanted to go through all this paperwork. There's quite a bit of it. And I might ask you a question or two. I'm Melissa with Channel 11. We're doing a Facebook Live, but I want to walk you through some of the paperwork you're going to get when you arrive. First of all, Harris County Public Health has given out a printout when it comes specifically to the chemical fire there in Deer Park. It talks about how for most people in the general public, your health risk is low. It also talks about some of the symptoms in at-risk population that people might experience when it comes to the aftermath and the effects of this ITC chemical plant fire. So one, this is very specific custom information you're going to get. Also available information for your pet. This is some of the stuff we've been sharing all day on KHOU, and you can probably see it on some of our pages, but Harris County Public Health has the information there, along with the hotline for pet poison control in case you have questions for your pet. So those are two informational sheets. Then they're going to ask you about this, a questionnaire specific to patient health. Over the past 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by any of the following problems? Little interest or pleasure in doing things, lethargy and things like that, feeling down, depressed, or hopeless. And so they're asking for this mental health questionnaire. And then this is the information a lot of you are probably going to want to know. What types of physical health questions are they going to ask? And so you've got an application with Harris County Public Health here. And then in addition to that, they've also got the opportunity today through the State Department of Health and Human Services to have your children immunized as well. And so just give me a second as we scroll through some of these documents. Again, we've already got 48 comments. And so here I go. Live Facebook. Let me turn down my audio. Okay, we've got where is it coming from and why. They say Shell, but ITC is the one that was burning. It is ITC, don't get confused. There was another fire in Baytown that was at the Exxon plant on Saturday. We again are talking about the ITC chemical storage tanks that burned Sunday and for 3 days there. Laura's thanking us for the info. We've got some more information. Jerry Garcia says it's empty because people in Deer Park and Pasadena work for a living, working side of Houston. Actually, a lot of folks here in Deer Park were in a shelter in place up until just before noon today. And so a lot of these folks are already here. Again, the doors just opened at 2 p.m. And you can see that folks range in age. You've got family members and you've got people here by themselves. Luis Gomez is saying, is 225 still closed? Nope. We took 225 in from the Beltway to get here, so that stretch of 225 from 146 to the Beltway is now back open, and so you can make it to this area. Again, the address is 500 West 13th Street in Deer Park if you need to plug it in to your GPS. And then Teresa says everything is fine until you start, growing. She put in some emojis there, and so Harris County Public Health wants to make it relatively clear and easily clear. They don't believe most of the general public is at risk for health symptoms, but they've got this set up in case you do. And so, Scott, I'm going to have you walk with me. We've got over here, once you do all of the paperwork at one of these tables, you'll go and check in here, and they'll check and see what your what your immediate needs are going to be. Is it going to be mental health? Do you need to see a nurse? That sort of thing. And so they've got all of this information here. You'll be screened and monitored by these gals here with the Harris County Public Health Department. And then also over here, then you'll come over here and you'll be seen by one of these nurses. And so they'll check everything out. They'll do one of these screenings. They'll check your blood pressure. They'll talk to you about, have you felt any of these symptoms over the last few days? And then also outside, Scott, let's show people what's outside while I go through some of these questions. And it's better to err on the side of caution. This mobile health clinic is going to be up from 2 to 7 today and 2 to 7 p.m. tomorrow. So if you can't make it out today, you can make it out tomorrow. And they're the only days right now, PJ, but depending on the need and depending on how many people come out, if there's a wait, right now there isn't, they might extend that. And everything related to being screened for the Deer Park ITC fire, Harris County says is free. All of these things will be free today. And so while this is the mobile Smile Clinic, it's actually being used for immunizations. And so this is what's happening out here as well. And so again, this is for folks in the Deer Park, LaPorte, Pasadena area. If you're interested in getting screened by a registered nurse, any of the nurses, any of the nurse practitioners who are out here with Harris County Public Health, this is what it looks like. And so you'll come up to 500 West 13th. You can park. There's plenty of parking here. You can bring in your kids. These two mobile vehicles, mobile medical vans, are going to be used for immunizations. Scott will walk folks back in here. But this is where you're going to want to come in. Hi there. And so you'll be greeted here. There's no way you're going to miss any of the information. You'll register. You'll be with your family, you know, and these sorts of things. One gal maybe might want to talk to us just a little bit about what her experience has been. She didn't run from the camera. If you don't mind, when can I get your name?
Oh, it's Lucinda Gandera.
Lucinda?
Yes.
And why are you here today?
Because I wanted to get a health assessment. I've been barricaded in my house for a few days. My nose has been burning. I have headaches, and it's scary. The whole situation's scary. And I'm a senior, so they say we're more at risk, you know.
You're filling out some of the information. What are some of the questions so far? And what's some of the information they've provided on that Deer Park sheet that's specific to this? Yeah, because you've already circled some things.
Yeah, I circled the symptoms that I have, which is coughing, headaches, and burning nose. Yeah, so that's pretty much the extent of what I have.
Yeah. You know, this opened at 2 p.m. I looked on the clock. It's just after that. I think we're just a few minutes in. It's 2:34. Are you surprised that so many of your neighbors are here with you?
I'm surprised that there's not more, because I got here at 2 o'clock, and there was a line at the door, but I came right in, and at that time, they only passed out one sheet. Once she got here, they had a bunch of forms, so I went back to get the rest of them. So I'm surprised that there's not more people here, really. I thought that there'd be really long lines.
Yeah. What was it like sheltering in place this morning? How did you get the news? And, you know, you talk about feeling some of the side effects associated with this chemical plant fire. I know you talk about being barricaded inside your house.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I got the news basically from TV, Channel 11, Channel 2, Channel 26, all of them. And then also my kids who used to live in Deer Park, but not anymore, they're sending me text messages, you know. And my son's in Kingwood, and he said I could evacuate to his house. But then I have a 75-pound dog at home. You know, it's not that easy. So I said, well, I'm just going to shelter in place. If they say evacuate, then I guess I'll head out.
You know, there was one of these, whoops, pardon me, Scott, can you swipe it over here? Yeah, they have this write-up for your pet. You talk about your 75-pound pooch. Had you noticed him or her acting a little bizarrely?
No, poor dog. I haven't paid that much attention. She was outside. Actually, and I was out of town over the weekend, so I didn't get home till Sunday night. So she was outside the whole time. But since then, pretty much I've had her indoors, you know, in a crate. So, yeah, I did notice last night. It was funny when I first brought her in. She was sneezing like crazy, but that was about it. Yeah. She's outside right now.
Are there any questions, if you don't mind us asking? And of course, it's your personal information, so don't mind us nosy reporters. But is there anything that you really want to ask these nurses when you get in front of them, or as far as maybe the effects that you might see later down the road, or maybe next week?
Not really. The part that really scared me, I think, was the benzene, and it seems like all the rest of them were just. I used to work for a chemical company, so I know that a lot of times it's not as bad. I know that they have experts there, and I really do think that they're trying their hardest to monitor the air and all this because, I mean, it is a huge thing. If OSHA comes in, they're going to get fined, and I know what all that does, not only, to the reputation of the company, but to the bottom line, too. So I know that they're probably trying to be as careful as possible. But the benzene is what kind of had me scared.
And then my last question for you is, does it make you feel better knowing that Harris County, as soon as it was able to set up these mobile clinics?
Yes, because I just hadn't taken the time to call my doctor's office, make an appointment, go in. So having to come in on this assessment is good and easy for me. I live right here on 13th Street, just down the road. So this was just real easy for me to get here. So I do appreciate this.
And one of the big pushes, health officials, doctors are always going to say, listen, if you don't feel good, come and talk to a doctor. But the other thing that these mobile clinics provide is that it gives them a thumbprint, like an ID of what the community is dealing with, how many people do feel symptomatic. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they do with all of this information.
Well, I'm sure it's going to also go to build their stats. Because everybody wants stats, everybody wants records, that type of thing. So, yeah, I think it's going to go a long way towards that. And I do appreciate, because so once I get assessed, if they tell me that I have something more or I should be more concerned than I think I am, then of course I will go in to see my regular doctor.
And they've got your information to follow up with you and things like that.
That's true, yes.
All righty. Thank you so much for chatting with us. I hope everything goes well and that you get to feeling better.
Thank you.
And so her story is what basically everybody's story here is. Over the last few days, they've been in their home, they've been sheltering in place, they've been feeling these symptoms, headaches, nausea, maybe lightheadedness, and so they're being checked out by medical professionals. This is a free event from 2 to 7 p.m. The address again is 500 West 13th Street here in Deer Park. Everyone's welcome, and when it's in relation to the symptoms of this ITC fire, maybe you got a cold or maybe you're feeling like the flu. Today, all of these things are free as far as the wellness screenings and the checkup. If you're showing some of these symptoms, or you live in Deer Park, LaPorte, the Pasadena, Galena Park area, and you want to be checked out by a doctor, great opportunity, especially for folks who may not have the insurance or the financial means to get to a private doctor's office. So we're going to leave you with this image here on Facebook. We're going to be live on KHOU between 4 and 6 p.m. Throughout the area, bringing you all sorts of different angles of information when it comes to this. So stay tuned for that. Everybody be safe and pass this along in case you know of somebody who may need this info. Bye, guys.
Well, they gave you antibiotics? Yeah, you probably should let them do it. But if they gave you antibiotics, did they give it to you there or prescription? Did you get it filled?